Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. It's your job to do your own due diligence, find out what's right for you, but we show you what we're doing and where some of the big money is flowing. First, we start out with a word of the day. A word of the day is ilk, a type of people or things similar to those already referred to. Of those of their ilk is often said, so that is what we're looking at right now. We're going to go to our heat map. Refresh it a little bit. Here's our heat map. Consumer cyclical, Tesla is shining there. Industrials is perking up. Utilities, healthcare is shining as well. Energy is bouncing from their sell-off yesterday. And financials, a few of them are a little mixed, but that is the story with them. I'm going to move on to our little advertisement or advertorial here. If you want to secure your retirement, make sure that you don't lose like in 2008 when the market went down 54%. This is a good place. It goes up when the market goes up, stays flat when the market goes down, goes up again, just keeps climbing the stairs. Beats index investing by about 5%, 12.58% to 7.57%. And if you want to learn more about that, please reach out to me. So we're going to go back and we're going to go look at our screens. This is MicroStrategy holding real tight toward the top of its pivot zone or breakout area. So it's down 0.5% today. And before we get started, we're going to take a look at our crypto, see what that is doing. It did sell off yesterday. Just share our screen again. It did sell off, as you can see in this lower panel right here. It sell off and it did come back here and it is holding strong. Ethereum has been performing a lot stronger than Bitcoin. We'll just take a look at Ethereum. It's up to about 3,400. Our audiences, I did share that Ethereum I felt was going to take off after it was at 2,500, and it has proven me correct. So that is a story with that one. Let us go to our regular charts. So we're back here with MicroStrategy. Let's go to our VIX. VIX is trending down a little bit here. That is not the ticker symbol I was looking for. So we're going to go over to the 20-year Treasury. it is remaining steady where it was yesterday. See if this will come up. So here's our 10-year treasury. It's up slightly today of 8 cents. Let's go to our other sub-indexes. We can see financials are bouncing back pretty strong off the 20-day. Got a nice strong move in the NASDAQ today. Look at the equal weight in the NASDAQ. Yeah, there almost looked like it gapped up and finished stronger, up 0.88. S&P 500 got a nice strong move as well. The equal weight in the S&P, yeah, got a pretty strong move off of the 20-day as well. Take a look at our small cap Russell index, and that is up 1.31% today. So that was definitely strong. And Dow Jones, and that is up slightly, still working, trying to get up to the pivot zone, up 0.65%. So we're going to continue with our sub-indexes of the S&P 500. KBWB is up strong, getting up to the 10-day moving average. Our aerospace just continues flying up into the stratosphere, that is for sure. JOBY, it keeps taking off like a rocket. ACHR Aviation looks like it's going to break out soon. I would think that this would be a pretty good early entry. Up 10.84%. Energy got a little bit of a bounce there, nothing to get too excited about. Utilities working their way up. Communications. Meta is down a little bit under its 20-day. Google is up. AT&T. T-Mobile. I think this is the ticker symbol. Those two are down. So I'm not sure which ones are really moving in this area. Real estate holding steady under the 200-day moving average. Biotech, that's up 0.34. This one's up 0.43. Software got a nice move there, up 1.37%. Technology continues moving on up 0.91%. Pave really broke out here. And road, we looked at yesterday in the infrastructure, and it has popped into the pivot zone today, up 3.33%. That's a pretty good move. Semiconductors, up 0.84%. Airlines, look like they gapped up and then dove later, up 0.76%. Leisure activities bouncing 1.47. That's a pretty big move there. Royal Caribbean, Viking, and Norwegian Cruise Line has been a little bit of a laggard, but it looks like it's clearing this shelf area here. Industrials got a nice move there. Caterpillar looks like it's getting ready to go into the pivot zone as well. Healthcare is down a little bit here today. Wow, look at that move in consumer staples. That's a really big move, up nearly 1%. Building materials getting up to 90. Metals and mining continues its ascent. It's getting pretty far from the 50-day moving average. That is something you want to watch. Home builders, they're getting a bounce. They're above the 20 now. And uranium keeps moving on up. Mako, the big company here. The small company is Denison Mines, and they keep moving on up as well. Maybe it'll break out of this 247 area. So this is probably where you wanted to buy, right? Maybe here when it cleared the 200-day moving average. And that is a look at that sector. I'm going to pause for a second. So we have our news of the world today in the markets. The bull bear spread in American Association of Individual Investors, AAII survey was up 0.3% versus up 5.8% last week. Bulls fall to 39.3 from 41.4. Neutrals fall to 21.8 from 23%. And bears rise to 39% from 35.6. Japan's exports fall for the second straight month with no U.S. trade deal in sight, raising recession fears. And let us now move on to our sector list for our company stocks. So we have Pepsi on the docket here, quarter two EPS $2.12 versus $2.03. And they gap up and they are at their high for the day, up 7.45% on the day. Not to be outdone, Coca-Cola. President Trump said on True Social last night, I have been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar and Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. So they are jumping up on that news, up 1.91%. Monarch Casino and Resort, EPS quarter two, $1.44, tops consensus of $1.17, and they skyrocket into the profit zone. On that news, they're up 20%. United Airlines, adjusted EPS 387 versus 381. And it looks like they're trying to break out of a little shelf here. Starwood Property announces 25.5 share common stock offering to acquire $2.2 billion net lease platform currently owned by Brookfield Asset Management. And they are moving down to the 200-day moving average on that news. That's not too good. And moving on to energy, industrials, and materials. Union Pacific is working with investment bankers at Morgan Stanley to explore an acquisition of a rival. And their stock is moving down on that news. Albemarle, we haven't talked about them for a long time. Albemarle and SQM shares edge higher in lithium sector after China Zhangye Mining halted lithium production at a unit in Qinghai province on orders from local officials. Albemarle is up 7.57%. And SQM, see if they'll come up here. They are up 7.45%. They cleared the 200-day moving average onto Alcoa. Alcoa Q2 adjusted EPS 39 cents versus 31. They jump up to the 20-day moving average up 2.91%. AAR Q4 adjusted EPS $1.16 versus $1.01. And they skyrocket past their profit zone, up 13.65%. GE Aerospace is in the news again, Q2 adjusted EPS $1.66 versus consensus of $1.40. I'm going to pause for a second while our screen comes up. So we are back. GE Aerospace is now in the profit zone as well. We'll go over to our daily. And shot right through it and then sold off a little bit, down 2.22%. Some people taking their profits. Kinder Morgan Q2 adjusted EPS 28 cents versus estimate of 28 cents. There's Kinder Morgan. It sold off, bounced off of their 200-day moving average. MP, which has been in the news quite a bit recently, announces commencement of proposed $500 million public offering of common stock, and their stock is up on the news, up 2.92%. Banco Popular, I believe this is, increases quarterly dividends to 75 cents and announces a $500 million share repurchase plan. And they are up on that news, up 2.6%. Union Pacific raises quarterly dividend by 3% to $1.38 a share. And now we're on to, so they're up, I guess they haven't come up here yet. Union Pacific is down 1.6% on that news. On to financials. Banner Corporation has adjusted EPS of $1.35 versus $1.31, and they're bouncing off their 200-day moving average on that news. Citizens Financial Group Q2 EPS 92 cents versus 88 cents. We got a slight beat there, and that was really cheered by investors. Marsh McLennan Q2 EPS $2.72 above consensus of $2.67. Principal Financial Group said assets under management were 752.7 billion as of June 30th. And I think I put in the wrong ticker symbol here. And Principal Financial Group is up somewhat on that news, up on 1.44%. Rexford Industrial Q2 FFO a share was 59 cents versus 59-cent estimate. And once that comes up, it is actually down on that news. On to SL Green Realty, FFO 163 versus estimate of $1.38. And that is down on that news. Triumphant Financial, Q2 EPS 15 cents versus 6 cents. You would think it would go up, but no, it's down to 50. On to healthcare. Sarepta Therapeutics shares jump, announced strategic restructuring and pipeline prioritization plan to maintain long-term sustainable growth and provide update on Elevidys label. Announces $400 million cost savings, 36% work reduction. And they are up 19% today. You can barely tell it, but we can go over to our weekly. Weekly doesn't really show anything here. Sorry about that, folks, but it does say it's almost 21%. I guess you can see it gapping up right over here to the 20-day moving average. That is the move today. On to Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer. Plan to sell widely used blood thinner Eliquis directly to patients at a discounted rate. So Bristol Myers Squibb moves up 1.89% on that news, and it clears the 10, looks like the 20 and 50-day moving average. And this is Pfizer. Pfizer is holding steady. No move in Pfizer at all. So on we keep marching forward. Elevance Health shares fell. Q2 adjusted EPS 884 misses the consensus of 919. So they're down 12.22%. And on to Novartis, Q2 EPS $2.42 versus estimate of $2.37. And the investors didn't like that either. They were looking for a much bigger move, and it falls, slices right through day moving average. But somebody knew something. This should have been a warning right over here when it sliced through the 10-day and the 20-day. If you're following your rules, one rule is if it goes down through the 20-day, you sell, and that would have saved you a lot of pain if you had done that. We will continue on here. On to technology, media, and telecom. Taiwan Semiconductor posted record forecast beating quarterly profit, but warned that future income might be hit by U.S. tariffs, though perhaps not until the fourth quarter. So Taiwan Semiconductor rises 3.38%, goes up through the profit zone. Newsmax expands carriage partnership with Fubo. It's up 3.10%. You can hardly tell that, but we'll take their word for it. And Fubo. Fubo is down marginally, about 0.5% on that news. And finally, VRT said to acquire custom rack solutions manufacturer Great Lakes for $200 million. That one is, ticker is not coming up. So this is VRT. Looks like it's kind of clearing an area right here. It's not really a shelf, but pulled back a little bit, pulled back to the 50-day moving average, recovered. And now it looks like it's trying to break out here. This is doing some of the infrastructure for AI. I'm going to look at some of the formerly FANG stocks. Looks like our internet is slowing down a little bit here. So here's a FANG. It had ridden this 10-day moving average right here, holding right along it. And now let's go look at some of the components. I think we looked at Meta earlier. It's pulling back a little bit right around the pivot zone. And we looked at Google as well. It was up slightly. Netflix, it's clearing here. I think, yeah, the earnings are supposed to be coming out pretty soon. Tesla, it's pretty flat for the day. Nice little tight shelf here. So it's a possibility it could bounce off of this one. So I'd keep my eyes open for that one. Apple, some pretty tight closes here as well. Amazon just riding the top of that pivot zone. Microsoft got a nice lift off today, 1.2%. AI had a nice move today. We didn't really look at where the big money is flowing. So we're going to jump over to that now. Got into its pivot zone here. Looks pretty good. Appfolio. So it had pretty good volume in AI. Appfolio got a nice lift off here from this little shelf bouncing off of the 10-day moving average. I'll move up our screen a little bit. We looked at Archer Aviation already. It continues to get good volume. ASP Isotopes in the chemical specialty gets pretty good liftoff with really good volume right here. It's up 18%. B1 Medicines. This is a ADR. Jumps up to its buy zone. 3 days of pretty good volume. And we got the moving averages starting to bend up. Big Bear AI. I'm not sure about this company. A lot of people saying it's too high a price right now, out of the valuation, but we will just kind of see what they got up their sleeve. Pretty good volume today, and it looks like it's coming out of this little channel where it came down to meet the 10-day moving average. A Black Sky Technology. Looks pretty extended right over here. Allegion. Mechanical electronic security components. Rises to the top of its pivot zone here. Some pretty good volume. Highest volume in its base, I believe. Helix. Rises to the top of its profit zone. And pretty good volume right over here. Question is whether it'll be breaking out of this area right here and continuing its move up. So what are we doing? Take a look at NVIDIA. Continues moving up about 1%. We don't have this one, Broadcom, but always like to take a look at that one. That's moving on up. AMD. Saw some comments that this doesn't really have the earnings to really jump up like this, so we'll just have to continue to watch that one. Palantir jumps into the profit zone. It's up a little over 2% today. App. It's another one that we have. Had a nice move today, up 2.33%. Bros. We're holding on to, was down earlier, so it was up about 1%. Or GTI Rigetti Computing had a big move yesterday. Looks like it jumps into the profit zone here, up 3.5%. A little bit of a sell-off after hours. METU is pulling back, getting close to the 50-day moving average. Looked at MicroStrategy, holding steady right up here. And Rose and TOST had a nice move to get into the pivot zone finally and hold. It jumped up here earlier and then sold off pretty strong. So this is good to see. WGS. And I think we'll end here. My mother is calling. So hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll catch up with you later. Go out there and make somebody's day today.